started. This evening's program, the Talk and Tour, I think it was called, or Tour and Talk, we've already done one at JFK, are really intended to be fluid programs. What we did when we were at JFK AFM was kind of see if there were any questions from the group, and then give a tour, and if you had questions after you did the tour, members of the school committee would stick around and be able to answer those. So really this is much more fluid, an opportunity for people who don't live in this town, perhaps live in Blackstone, to see this school in Millville and what it has to offer, and that was our intent when we were in Blackstone a couple weeks ago. So I guess we'll start. I'm Jane Reggio. I am a member of the school committee, or if you were at the wonderful Centennial Millville Parade yesterday and read the call, I guess I am the school committee. So, but anyway.
And I'm Erin Pinaco. I'm also a member of the school committee, a Millville member.
Joanne Watson, Blackstone, the newest member of the school committee.
Sarah Larkin, Millville member.
Jennifer Dean Wayne, parent, town official.
Les Davis, town moderator and resident.
Kathy Jones, I teach first grade here in Millville.
Steve Tringali, school committee from Millville.
Eric, I have my son is going to be a student next year.
Are you a Millville resident?
Formerly Millville resident.
Courtney Tennyson, Blackstone resident.
Sarah McAvoy, Blackstone resident.
Thank you.
I'm Mrs. Schaefer. I am a teacher here, and right now I'm the acting principal of Millville Elementary School. So.
Erica Feingold, Millville resident.
Well, thank you everybody for coming. And as you know, the school committee, or as you may know, the school committee has proposed that our elementary school systems follow the regional agreement that we've had in existence for a long while, and essentially merge the two elementary systems. We have put out a lot of information. We are putting out more information on the district website about why the committee decided to go in this direction, but it's essentially been about a 3-year study on what the impact of the school system as we have it now in the elementary grades, and what the impact might be if we were to merge the grades and have the students educated together with like grade students. And so if you have questions about that, we can certainly address them, but we really want to give you time to see the school, and then if you have questions afterwards, do that as well. So I don't know if,
Do you have any questions right off the top?
Not really, I don't. No, my son went to the preschool here, so I'm familiar with the school.
school a little bit.
Yeah, and mostly I wanted to bring my daughter to see the
Yes,
school.
yeah, that's a great idea. That's a wonderful idea. That was our intent. Oh, sounds like we have more teachers. No, it's our helpers. It's our flower picker-uppers.
Any questions? All right, so we'll set off on a tour then, and the way we did it in Blackstone is 2 of us went and
A couple of us hung out.
stayed just in case other people showed up. So
Or you had
I will
questions you don't want to ask in front of the group.
Maybe I was last in school. It always seems like it's brand new.
Jones, so we're going to call it
Almost 20 years old.
classroom that all the classrooms are the same size, so you can pop right in. Go ahead in.
It's a typical classroom. They all have about the same size. They all have a smart board.
And right now, the way this is being proposed, our building and staffing committees have these rooms labeled as 3rd grade. So the classrooms flow. They have doors connecting each other inside the room and then, of course, through the hallway. So 3rd grade would be connected here. We'd have a few 4th grade rooms downstairs, a few upstairs, and all of 5th grade in a hallway that you'll see when we get up there too. But all the classrooms are basically
They're all
the
about
same
the same
size,
size.
and
Some have like 1 door, some have 2, but other than that, they're all same size.
the older kids in preschool, that side, they have to keep them separate.
Yeah.
I can see that's fenced in as well.
These are two of the bathrooms, so both floors have bathrooms down, and there's another set directly above. So there's two sets of bathroom, girls and boys. All right, let's go down this way. What grade are you guys in? Third grade? How about you? Third grade, awesome. Who do you guys have this year? Jerry, and how about you? Nice. This is our gymnasium. They usually
So compared to the Blackstone building, there's only one gym in this building, but it is much larger.
They have two gyms in Blackstone?
They do.
one on each school. So JFK
Oh, there's
has
two
one and
schools.
AFM has one.
But I'm gonna say they're about half the size.
Considerably smaller. So I didn't do the Blackstone tour. So the Blackstone school has two schools and they both house grades K through 5, or pre-K through 5?
No, just K through 5.
K through 5.
One
So it's,
side is
yes, K through 2 and the other side's 3 through 5.
Gotcha.
So JFK is K through 2, AFM is 3 through 5.
And what's gonna happen with the regionalization of that? Like,
Our hopes is all of the kids in the district would be together by grade. So in this building, it would be 3, 4, 5. In the Blackstone building, it would be pre-K to 2. So in here, we have, we
right, but there's
typically
two
have 2
buildings,
classes.
so there would be pre-K to 2
Well,
in
they're
both
actually
buildings?
connected.
Oh, okay.
But they do have
It's
two.
a giant hallway in the middle of that.
Yeah.
So I should have gone to that and I would have had a better idea
It
what
is
you're
on
talking
video.
about and what you're
It
telling
is
me.
on video.
Originally built
K
as
and
2
one.
buildings with a little gap in between.
They're connected to the side by a
No, we're gonna go check out the whole building.
All right, let's head to the cafeteria next.
Oh, we're gonna go see where you eat lunch.
Lunchroom tables in here, but.
Oh, yes, I know about that.
Go ahead, go read it.
So let's see the lunchroom.
That's important.
It looks funny in here.
It has to do with how we get reimbursed by the state. We actually get more money if it's 2. Even though it's individually Yeah.
Typically, there are tables all across here, but the custodians obviously pick them up to clean, so.
Is there just one cafeteria? There.
Whoa. There are 2 lunches right now, so assuming the part was.
Well, there are how many kids in the building right now?
270 something, 279?
76 or something.
276, something like
And
that.
it'll go to like 354.
But that's the current enrollment, so
Okay.
it depends. With the current classes, it would be 354 kids in Millville.
Yeah.
Four
And we have to go to
fifty
three waves of lunch.
497.
Yeah.
Probably.
But that is constantly changing with enrollment to kindergarten.
Especially if you're gonna try to fit a
Between two
whole
blocks.
2 blocks lunches split up
So
between right now?
it's K through 2 and 3 through 5, but obviously it would depend on.
We're saying you have to go to 3 waves of lunch, but that's doable.
That's the
You have a
principle.
full kitchen, is that correct?
Yes.
And are you using the kitchen? Or are you bringing the food over from somewhere else?
Oh, no, they cook it all in here.
Okay.
We have a full decisions.
Yes, they're amazing.
Want to see the boiler room? You want to see the boiler room?
Are you here for this floor? Yeah. You can either join us here, we're about halfway through this floor. But there's also a group in the library. They would need us for you to say hi.
Oh, I went to school with her.
And then we're going to end in the library again if people have questions.
I'm sorry. I say close to 3. That was my guess.
They
but-
ripped up 4 tickets for the memory show. They were
Because they had too many.
That's the only reason I know.
They weren't going to put chairs. Sometimes they put chairs behind the. Yeah.
Is this just a spring decor out front, or is there? That was our best for today for teacher. I mean, not teacher, yeah, teacher appreciation.
Nice, okay. Oh, that's what the flowers were doing then?
Yes, that's what the boys just picked up. So they don't get frozen or anything. Your friend Devin? Whose class is your friend Devin in?
Kindergarten.
What does he have? That's not that long. This is currently the art room.
I sat here all the time. It was like this room.
Yep. All right. Do you want to go meet Will? This is our computer lab, as you can see. Here's our computer lab.
Because we're going all wireless, Mrs. Schaefer. We're going all wireless with the new upgrade. Maybe that will answer that question.
I used to hate that on purpose.
So what is, this is what it looks like in there.
This is our classroom right here. This is an example.
But there's been a sub in my room for a couple weeks now, so.
But this would be, yes, this is Mark, the fifth grade math.
Oops, okay. So they're the same size as
They're all the
these
same
now.
size. Mhm. So like this room has 2 doors, but the one right next door only has 1, because she's an N
Yeah, right.
classroom, so she has the extra, like, wall space.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 3 doors. I mean, there's 3 doors.
Well, 2, I'm sorry, 2 on that.
Oh, yeah.
Adam, don't touch.
I think you might be a smidge too young to teach the class, so.
I like rooms with character.
Oh, it's got a lot, especially like I said, since I'm not in
There
here.
was Minions when you were
Might have
there.
extra character.
I don't know who likes Minions. Every year.
That's right.
Minion pieces.
That was actually someone's book talk project.
One of the
That's
kids?
pretty amazing.
Wow. You mean one of the kids'
What book
parents?
did they read?
Yeah.
Probably. It's actually styrofoam. It's the lightest thing ever.
What book did they read?
Yeah, when he almost knocked it over.
Movie one, maybe something like that. Off the top of my head. That was like September, October. We haven't sent it home yet because we like it enough.
It fits perfectly.
That was their Halloween theme for their room downstairs.
I'm sorry?
The theme of Halloween, were they Minions downstairs?
Oh, I was Monsters Inc. and Mrs. Faulkner. Oh no,
was the hairdresser.
Mrs. Reggio was a minion.
Yeah, she had a.
That's
there
right,
was a
she was a
Minion
Reg-
station
she was a-
during the Halloween
Mm-hmm.
event.
We did have a minion bulletin board, but it has come down.
So how'd you do? Was it a lovely tour?
We tried to hit all the highlights.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions
Yeah, no.
from what they've seen or?
I do.
Okay.
Realizing that this school is not, your plans are not to use that school for pre-kindergarten.
Correct.
Kindergarten.
Correct.
What is gonna be done with those spaces?
Right now, they're on a floor plan from our staffing and building committees as specialty rooms like OT, PT. We didn't see those rooms of speech. They have rooms through the building. Some are closets, some are classrooms that aren't in use. So we'd be able to centralize all of the services into that one area. And it would be centrally located, right where
And for
that
those,
wing
that's
is now.
occupational therapy, physical therapy.
And would any adjustments have to be made to the physical structures or the accommodations of those rooms?
The
to
furniture
accommodate
would
those
be
students?
moved to where we need it.
Right.
The furniture would be, the kindergarten room would, it would basically be boxed up and labeled, this is going to kindergarten room 102. And that full room would be moved. And the specialties items would be moved into that room. But as far as modifying bathrooms or, it wouldn't be necessary. They'd have access and use them as they are.
Okay.
Any other questions?
How many current families are there here versus like say at Kennedy? So if it was to be restructured, how many families would be coming?
Students, we have
Well, not students, 'cause
364.
that kind of fluctuates, like family-wise. Thinking parent pickup, you know, we don't have a loop. So what is the, you know, what is it gonna loop like out front now that we've increased the number of parents versus the parking that's there? I mean, I know, you know, town meeting and sometimes parking can be a bit of a pill out there, kindergarten graduation, stuff like that. So I'm just curious if we're increasing the number of parents coming for a parent pickup in a day, we don't have a loop, what is that going to?
What we would ask is for our administrators to create that. We have in the past actually here. There's definitely other points of access from the building to make it flow easier with the transportation, with the busing that will be coming in. Obviously, they'd be using the front loop.
I don't know if you can guarantee the back loop. I think
Right.
that's a conversation you might have to have with your board of selectmen in Millville.
And we will if it's
Because there was a
necessary.
report done in the quality of that road over the past 20-something years, deterioration.
Yeah, it would be something that would be put into place after the plans started progressing.
Do you think you could get me the number of families? Rough
It's a
estimate?
constant, I mean, with enrollment, and some of that is private based on, you know, student names and addresses,
Oh, I
so.
wouldn't want names or
Well,
addresses.
we'd
I'm
have to
just
go
number-
beyond that though, then how many would be parent drop-off
Yeah.
versus busing?
Well, that's what I'm
versus-
just saying, but
That's a
you
tough-
can,
That's a tough number to find.
well, I'm just wondering how many families, I mean, there are within
It's not,
districts
it's not
versus
data
school.
we have
No,
access
not
to.
school committee.
No. But I'm just saying, is that information that you could get?
I mean, it may be, is it information that you have in terms of the number, we always know the number of
Beginning
students.
the year, I know as classroom teachers, we fill out like who's on what bus for like bus, and then who's pick up and drop off, but that changes
It
throughout
does,
the
right.
year and
But in
day to
terms of,
day.
but in terms of the, I mean, we know the number of students that are here, do we know the number of families that are here? I mean, I
Mrs.
don't,
O'Neill, you know what, Mrs. O'Neill
She
can
probably does.
work magic. I bet you she does.
But that's only.
Or an estimate, like.
Well, you got to
Yeah,
ask the same
I'm not-
question as
Right.
JFK, then somehow
It's
cross
not a number that has
and
needed
how
to be
many,
included in our.
I just don't know that that's data, like how many have first graders and kindergartners, and I just don't know that that's, I mean, data's all manipulative, I don't know what the word would be. You can manipulate anything, but I don't know if it's something we collect in order to manipulate it, that I don't know. But we can, it's a good question.
Because I know JFK doesn't have great parking, so you're increasing your family base that's coming to your events. Do you know what I'm saying? So now, JFK, they mentioned in the report that
We'd
there
actually
was
be
some.
reducing the number of families in that building by, student-wise, it's over 150 if we were able to divide them more equally between the two buildings.
But it would be an increase at this building.
It might be, it might not be, depending on the age of people's children.
Yeah.
So, if all three of mine are here, then, but every year it would be different.
But I mean, right now, while the schools are separate, those numbers are probably more tangible to get and work with, and to see what the school does look like, as far as number-wise.
I do have a question regarding parent pickup. Not that it necessarily applies to me, but it is something that it probably will apply to some people. Some people are gonna have a child at JFK and a child at MES. And how is that gonna work if they're doing parent pickup, they need to pick up one child at one school and another, are they gonna stagger the,
Yes.
okay, the times?
It already happens for families that have older children with middle school and high school. There's still parent pickup at those schools, and so the staggered times, you
It's
essentially
just that
become
it's
your own bus company.
further away, but
Right.
yeah,
I think
okay.
even between JFK and AFM right now, there's 5 minutes or something between those two schools
They don't release them.
for dismissal, so.
Well, at AFM and JFK, students who have older kids, they'll go to one pickup place, and they'll have the kids go to that. Both of their children will go to that one just pickup. But, okay, that makes sense, though, if you stagger.
And the preschool will have a separate pickup time. If the preschool is at JFK, so that population would already be dismissed before we would be starting our dismissal as the upper grades, right? Is that how it is here? Okay.
Any other
No,
questions?
avoid it like
I've
it's
never
like
been here,
mandated,
so I don't know.
Whenever possible, do the bus.
Aaron, I have two things.
Sure.
First one being is, you said there's gonna be more information on your website. Are you talking about the school committee website, or which one?
We're
And
actually,
when is that gonna be posted?
it is being posted hopefully as we speak.
Okay,
And there should be a link on our landing page of BMRSD. And as well, if people end up going to school committee instead, it should be there as well.
okay.
But it should be on the main page of the, I can actually tell you. It was organized and put into one link today,
Okay.
so it should, and it was requested to be put on the main page.
And what is that entitled? Do you happen to know that off the top of your head?
What is in the site?
No, what is it entitled?
Yeah, that we don't know what they were gonna call it.
I think it should say regional agreement information.
That's what we put in the email.
Was there a second question? You said you had two?
Documents.
Yeah, I'm with
So
you.
right now, it is under our school committee as regional agreement information.
Okay.
It
very
is,
good.
it is supposed to be on the main page, so nobody has to search for it.
Okay.
So we will make sure that's corrected by tomorrow. It was only supposed to be set up today anyway, so.
My second question is, or concern, let me put it that way, is when I've heard from a number of residents and people that have attended meetings so far, and I know that these questions are going to be coming up May the 9th, is there are, people ask questions and they get the response of, well, that's to be determined. Well, we don't know yet. We have to figure it out first. And the concerns is, then what am I voting for? If you can't tell me what's gonna happen and how it's gonna happen, why am I going to allow you to move forward without having those answers? Because when I get those answers, I may not like those answers and I wanna vote no.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So those are concerns that I think they're gonna be raised, and can you address that?
So questions in particular that have already been brought to us and answered in that manner, we have put as much as we have into a slideshow that's going to be presented at the town meeting, such as building configurations, bus routes, budget questions on how much we expect to, to spend on moving. If it has been asked of us by this point, we've tried our best to get an answer. So, without having more time than a week left, and being able to call another public meeting, it's going to be on the town floor that we're able to answer those questions. We haven't been received well on social media by just giving the information, so we're going to wait until we have everyone there that is voting to, be able to answer those questions as best we can.
So
I'm
you'll-
happy to answer them.
So you'll know,
Yeah.
I fully expect at the town moderator that at 10 o'clock, if we're not through, I have completed all of our business and all our articles, we're gonna be going to a second meeting at some point in time then. So we will adjourn that night and come back.
So it's not planned for the second, the
Pardon
next.
me?
Is
10
10 o'clock
o'clock?
should be your cutoff?
10 o'clock?
Just in case people ask
That's,
that.
that's earlier than.
Well,
That's actually good to know.
Well, at
Yeah,
that
is that
point,
shared somewhere?
no, because what it is at 10 o'clock you decide, okay, we have 2 articles left, we can forge through them and be done. Or you say there's so much to be done that we really can't do the rest of it this evening. So that's really based upon all the prior articles and the discussions around that. So at 10 o'clock, sometimes we have said, no, we can push it, and we've got out at 11:15. But it all depends on everything before it.
Yeah.
So when you get to that point, then at that point, we
Well,
decide
I
one
mean,
way or the
I
other.
can only speak for myself, but as somebody with a young child, I would appreciate that 10 o'clock is the call time.
Well, that's mainly the reason.
Because I've stayed a lot later.
That's
and-
mainly the reason, because I've gotten inquiries and residents voicing concern that, hey, we have small children, and we're paying for, babysitters and this and that, or we have the big sister or big brother watching all the children, we need to get home.
Yeah.
And I understand that, and a lot of people, and I gotta go to work the next day.
Right.
So we have discussed it, I have with the Board of Selectmen and others, and Finance Committee, and I said, okay, I'm setting a time of 10 o'clock. Once we reach that point, if we see that we're not gonna be able to finish up, we're going to adjourn until the next day, or whatever it is. The next day, the next 3 days, whatever it is.
When will, I just have a question, because it's happened in Blackstone as well, do you have a time frame in mind of when the next meeting would be worst case scenario if it went into a second time? 'Cause
It's already booked.
Yeah, I think it's the next
The
night.
very next night.
The very next
The
night.
very next night, it's
Yeah,
already
and
booked.
just so those people who are from Millville, I know there's some Blackstone folks here, this regional agreement warrant item is number 18. So it's
It's a lot.
second from the
to
end, second to last.
And I'll tell you why that I made my recommendations to the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee for that. Because on so many occasions in the past, well, I'm gonna say almost 27 years, I've been going to town meetings here in Melville. 6 of them as the town moderator. I have watched, we've had an article at number 9. And we voted on it, and then 3/4 of my attendees got up and left. And I said, whoop, wait a minute, how many people we got left? We got 15. We can't continue because we're below a quorum. And we have to have 40 people as a quorum. You drop below that, we're done.
I appreciate that you think our article's going to bring the
Keep
quorum.
people in.
I don't know, I don't
It's,
think so.
it's not the first time I've seen a large turnout from Millville residents because of the school articles.
Yeah, no, I agree.
In fact, and more so than the town budget.
What will this do for staffing? Is this gonna cause layoffs for teachers or anything like that?
That is not in our plan at all.
It's still the same number of kids between
Right.
the two buildings.
Right.
But you did budget for additional elementary school teachers, right? New ones.
Oh, for extras?
No.
As long,
I thought there were some.
my concern
I
is
thought there
anybody
were
gets
some
laid
new
off. I don't like
positions.
the idea of anybody getting laid off, so.
Well, this is actually, so this plan would be for 2017, so we haven't even projected a budget for that. The teachers you're speaking of were reading specialists for our elementary buildings.
Okay.
And we already had to eliminate them before we even brought our budget to the town. So with those were not additional classrooms.
Okay.
They were reading specialists for the little people.
Additional on what you already have though.
Right, for
Okay.
reading.
Yeah, but that was for just.
That would be this school
for
year.
this next
That is this setup.
2016, 2017.
Correct.
And this, in your agreement, is gonna be 2017, 2018.
Correct.
Okay.
And, you know, essentially, like Steve said, we're taking the same number of students, we're just divvying them up across, and hopefully creating some equity across the classrooms, allowing the teachers at a particular grade level to collaborate and divide up, you know, evenly across the two towns. I mean, that's really the intent, so not to lose or, you know, say, okay,
Because I
now we
would
can
hope-
take 100 and shove them into 2. I mean, that's-
As a parent and as a person who has a teaching license and cares about what happens to teachers,
Right.
I'd hate to see a situation where they say, oh, well, we can divvy it up and give extra kids to each class, and that way we can eliminate a teaching position for each grade or something like that, as opposed to, the advantage of this whole purpose
Right.
is to give kids more time with their teachers.
Exactly.
So, you know, for me, the thing that I'm liking about this possibility is that kids are gonna have a better teacher ratio. And I hate to see anybody think, oh, well, now we can cut a teacher.
And one of the things that it does do is both of our communities are not growing, I guess, I don't know how you want to say that, but our enrollments are decreasing in both schools, significantly here. A little bit in Blackstone, about, well, it's 11.8%, so 12% in Blackstone, almost 40% in Millville. Over the last 10 years. And so if that trend continues, then would you see a decrease in teachers? Yeah, because you don't have the students, you know, to even fill the classroom. So in that regard, the school committee would have to look at that. But the school committee has been very committed to low classroom sizes and choices for students and support for the teachers.
But
I
that's
just
an
wanna
effect,
share-
that's an effect a number of towns in the Commonwealth are having right now.
Absolutely.
Because there's a
Absolutely.
mass exodus of people out of the state of
Yeah,
Massachusetts,
absolutely.
you know, so.
I just want to share, Mr. Davis, that as we were speaking, and I said as we were speaking,
Yep.
it is now on our.
Literally.
So this is our homepage.
Yep,
Your landing page, there's a rotating picture of all the schools
Yep.
always. And to get anything on this page, you have to scroll down.
yep,
And
Understand.
this link is regional agreement.
okay, thank you very
So
much,
that should be hopefully user-friendly.
thank you.
And for people, that document on or the documents, because there are several,
We put a lot.
trace through the history of this study group, this advisory committee, the request for members initially, the initial meetings, the strengths, the weaknesses of our current system, the decision to go forth and put it onto a warrant, the studies that were done afterwards, the building and staffing committee, recommendations of who in what school, the bus route draft, and clearly a draft. Oh, it's not in there?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind.
No, this is the work done by the committee, and your summary.
And then there's
a summary from a few members that work together to, you know, put a timeline in
Try
place.
to tie it all
Right.
together for everybody, those are important.
But we do have a draft bus run, with 14 buses, which is what we currently have in use between both elementary school, or all 3 elementary schools. I think people are gonna be surprised to see it. There are some buses with as little as 38 kids. And the longest bus is 32 minutes, including an 8-minute stop.
That makes
It's
my kids shorter.
including an 8-minute stop and drop at
Mine
the
too.
Blackstone School and then moving over here. It is just a rough draft because enrollment changes every year with, you know, the new kids coming in and the 5th graders leaving. And with 38 kids on a bus, we have a lot of work to do because our buses hold 77, 78 kids. And so we might even find a savings there. But of course, we want to keep the routes, you know, as close in time as possible to what we already have. So, and that will be available at the town meeting. Now, I know there are some people that have come in after the tour, so we are, I think maybe at 6 o'clock we'll do another tour, or I guess we could even do it now if we, why wait till late? Does anyone have any
Anybody have
questions?
any other questions or concerns or suggestions?
I have a question regarding school start time. I had watched the previous meeting you've done, and it hadn't been finalized, you know, the school, as a concern of mine as having kids across the district is, especially when at BBT as well, is if kids are in 5 different schools, start times is gonna be, and end times is gonna be very difficult. So, do you have any idea how that will work at this point?
We do not know the specifics and really wouldn't know until we knew the numbers and enrollments and everything. But I can tell you, we use the same buses that we use for our high school, middle school, for our elementary school. So there's no way you can start the elementary school if the buses are still delivering the high school. So they're always gonna be staggered there. And then the staggering then between the two elementary schools.
Right,
So-
that's
so it-
basically what I'm asking,
We were
is if you
estimating
know at this point, like, would it be like, just like what it is between the middle school and the high school
Yes,
right now?
yes.
15-minute lag time?
And
that kind of
our
thing?
goal would be to make it earlier, not later. So
Okay.
let's say 15 minutes in between. And, you know, the Blackstone, the way we see it happening is Blackstone would be dropped off first and then the buses would be coming here. So it would be a 15-minute difference between the two and not later than what we already have.
Okay, all right, so it would never be after?
Correct.
Any other questions? Thank you so much for coming. If you haven't had a tour yet and you do want one, we will definitely start another one. But I think that
Would anybody like a tour?
tour?